So the way that anyone pursues a creative practice is so incredibly personal and individualized. It has everything to do with every iota of who and how you are as a human being. And yet, of course, as human beings, there are commonalities that join us. So I obviously am sharing anecdotes from my own personal experience, but my thinking is if you are an artist yourself or aspiring to be an artist, you can use this as a template or a prompt or a jumping off point for your own version of artistic inquiry. And if you're just curious about what the F an artist does or what the F art means, because there's a whole lot of superficial garbage and jargon around art. The big question is, how do I work? How do I enter into working with my chosen medium? Not so much how do I want to work, but how do I actually work? So this in and of itself, it can be a complex territory because you see all these examples because of the internet and everything else. If you happen to be in school, which I was never in a formal art school, so I didn't get this, but apparently I've certainly heard from musicians and visual artists in particular, and dancers, that school can ruin you because you are given such a rigid template for how to work with your medium, how to work with your body, what the right way is and what the wrong way is. And I've always kind of skirted on the edges of these things because I went to a school that was, I have a liberal arts and interdisciplinary arts degree. But the study was much more about how you work with your mind and how you work with your mind directly in the approach process before technique, but not process without technique. So it's this balance of how much do you integrate or how long do you use the training wheels of technique to give you your framework, and when do you kind of throw those off? I am an experimenter by nature, so my angle began and continues with just throw the materials at me and I will roll around in them on the floor, and little by little, it can be the long route, honestly, I will begin to pick out where my interest lies. And then as a part of that process, I begin to discern, okay, I would like to know a little bit more about this. I would like to learn some technique here. I need some more structure. I would like to find a person that works in this way that I'm interested in and maybe copy or imitate, learn from them, etc. Again, this is my approach. So learning how you approach these things. My studio process involves many surfaces that I move between. You might try that and you might hate it. And you might find that one surface is good for you. I'm interested in this idea of divination, which is essentially throw all the stuff on the floor, roll around in it, and then stand back and see what that process reveals. So that's where I get my input, my prompts, my catalyst, my next step forward, is by jumping in to the unknown a lot of times. And this stresses me out because I'm actually also a control freak. Structure is very, very helpful to me, but I don't like preconception. I don't like, say, an assignment where the outcome is supposed to be a particular thing. It's much more that the process itself, the thought within the act, gives me the information. I follow the patterns that come out of the working. The work is what seeds itself. Painting as a form of divination. How and where does a kind of call and response originate from within the process? I make a mark. I think a mistake I've made in the past is making this into a conceptual process. Oh, I make a mark and then the voice of God comes down and tells me what to do next. No, I make a mark and then I make another mark and then I get pissed off and I scribble it out. It's all call and response. the world isn't waiting for my commentary, my intellectual commentary on it. So that's probably, you know, a lot of artists say that you get in your own way. It's the thought process, the slow brain trying to make sense of a process that's way bigger than it is and way beyond what it is. So like I said, I throw my intellect a bone, and I very much enjoy researching and doing research. I found after years and years of writing and rewriting my artist statements that it was all, at first I thought it was all bullshit that I was writing. It wasn't that it was bullshit. It was my mind playing with ideas and really enjoying that play of ideas. It was entirely different from my process of painting. Entirely, I want to say entirely separate. There's obviously a connection because I think my brain seems to be connected with my, you know, my brain is my body and whatnot. But the process of playing with ideas is a different process than thought in the act, thought engaged in a bodily act, thought engaged in the process of painting, if that makes sense. I'm very interested in this parallel between my moods and the weathers. I see my moods as weathers that move through my body. And thus, when I'm acting on a surface, I'm kind of like a force of nature working on the surface of the landscape, except I happen to be a human brain, and so I make my human choices. So I like that parallel. I like imagining myself as a force of weather, as a force of nature. I think it hitches my intellectual brain a little bit and gives me a little bit more freedom to just let things energetically move through. You can trust, or you are forced to trust and accept the way that the weather works on the landscape and creates something actually inhabitable, until humans get in the way too much, but and beautiful. So, you know, again, that's just kind of an idea that I like, so I use that idea. I have discovered over time that a poetic phrase like the silent horizon, or a concept that I've built meaning around, such as soul retrieval, creates a whole image in my mind, and I use that as a way to inspire my working in the studio. It's this process of seeding, of a constant dialogue, of trying something and then receiving information from the reality of the work itself. Oh, I tried that. It did not work. I took that class and it fell flat. Okay, I feel this very intense energy coming through. What happens when I slap paint around when I'm in that particular state? How do I behave? How do I paint when I'm in different states of mind? When I am a ball of anxiety, what does that mean for my painting process? What am I driven by? If I'm driven by trying to escape that anxiety, what is the antidote? Can I transmute that anxiety in the studio rather than running away from it? So anyway, I hope that there was some helpful things for you, ideas, catalysts, whatever, in this video. I'm, as always, interested in your comments, in your experience. Let me know with a message or with a comment. And yeah, keep an eye out, because I'm going to be hosting some labs coming up soon over Zoom / Substack, or whatever is easiest. So thank you for watching. Bye.